welcome to the highlights of a wonderful day's cricket, the fourth day of this third Cornhill Test match at Headingley, a day where England started off looking as though they had to concentrate on all-out defence and where the Australian bowlers seemed as though they would be in the ascendancy. The scorecard at the start of the day was 6 for 1 England. Graham Gooch, the man out, caught on Saturday evening by Alderman off Lilly without scoring. Immediately after that, the umpires went off the field. Boycott 0 not out and Brearley 4 not out, 6 for 1. That's the situation at the start. England needed 221 runs to avoid an innings defeat. Dennis Lilly started off finishing his over. He had 3 balls to go from the unfinished over on Saturday evening. Terry Alderman then bowled the first full over. Mike Brearley had made a single, and Alderman is bowling to him now. In the commentary box, Tom Graveney and Christopher Martin-Jenkins.
Very well timed stroke. And 4 runs. Lilly again from the Caxtell Lane end. That's a good shot. Long chase back for Hughes, but it's going to be a vain one. And Mike Brearley has been very precise on anything slightly over pitch so far this morning. Yes, easy as you like. Thank you very much to Terry Alderman at third slip, and the first victim of the morning for Dennis Lilly.
And an excellent delivery, this, pitched on the off stump. He had to play at it, and it just left him off the seam, and Terry Alderman made that catch look very, very easy.
Safely away for 4.
Pretty wide delivery this from Dennis Lilly, and really if England are going to have any chance, they've got to cash in on the bad ball.
Chasing and throwing there from Trevor Chappell, and a fine shot from David Gower. That was very well bowled, but my word, it did cut a long way off the seam. Alan Border safely took it there at slip. I reckon that must have pitched around about middle and leg and finished up outside off stump. David Gower has gone for 9, 37 for 3 now. Excellent piece of bowling from Terry Alderman. And I'm not too sure there's very much Gower could have done about that. He's gone in 37 minutes. That's close, yes. I'm afraid he has to go. LBW again. Second time in the match, Mike Gatting, and Alderman has struck again. He removed Gower. Now he's taken Gatting, and England 41 for 4.
Mike Gatting felt it might have been going down the leg side. The keeper's fairly well in line with the leg stump. That's usually quite a good guide.
Boycott goes to 18. He's off the mark, but for one instant, he must have wondered where it was going.
Showing that he can attack as well when the opportunity arises. It won't go for 4. Chappell catching up with it just inside the long off boundary. And just... No, he's coming back for the second. Despite a good return from Lilly. Lawson, I think, trying to repeat the Yorker which he produced for Willie in the first innings, but Peter Willie digging that one out successfully.
Just 2 runs added to take that total up to 78 for 4 at lunch. A desperate session for England that. They lost the 3 wickets before lunch. The Australians, Lilly and Alderman, each 2 wickets and very, very much on top. And we pick up play now in the 3rd over after lunch. 5 runs are added. It's Dennis Lilly coming in to bowl and Peter Willie's taking strike. With me in the commentary box is Tom Graveney. 4 runs, very fine glance. The shout came from Lilly, who thought the ball had got through Willie's defence. Safely away for 4. Very similar to the stroke with which Willie got off the mark when he was facing Terry Alderman. Shot. That's gone like a rocket. Great shot. Yeah, that one, but still a beautiful stroke from Peter Willie to bring up the 100 for England. 102 for 4 now, and Willie has gone to 31. Beautifully placed. Now that is really good thinking. A superb piece of captaincy, a magnificent piece of bowling, and Peter Willie is gone. That's one of the best pieces of tactical thinking I've seen in a long time.
Very, very good piece of out cricket by Australia. There it is. Mind you, the delivery was tremendous because it climbed that little bit higher and got Peter Willie a little bit tucked up, and he really only chipped it rather than hit it to that short third man. But very, very fine performance by the Australian side there.
And what a nice way for Dennis Lilly to become the greatest ever wicket taker in the history of Anglo-Australian tests. Goes past Huey Trumble's record of 141.
Yeah, what a triumph for him it would be if he could still be batting at 6 o'clock this evening. Lovely shot. Alderman pitching up again, inviting him to drive, and Ian Botham needs no second invitation. And that's again beautifully timed. It was backward a square, but it's 4 runs nonetheless. And that's taken a long time to go down. There's a big gap there. Should be 2. Dyson the field up. And although the sun may be shining, still a bit of a problem with these flying papers. And he's gone, and a very reluctant lever of the crease. Alderman getting the vital breakthrough for Australia when it seemed that Boycott just simply couldn't be penetrated. And he does not look very happy with that, but that's partly, I'm sure, because he's not put a foot wrong and really never looked like missing the ball at all. But he is out LBW for 46 after 215 minutes of superb defence. Soft dismissal, but very well bowled. The man placed there for it, and Ray Bright, making no mistake, a simple catch, lifting a bit, and Bob Taylor, sometimes inclined to pop the ball up in that area, becomes the 7th man out and Alderman's 4th victim. Rather disappointed with himself.
Runs. Botham's 27 not out, Dilley 10 not out. Here's Alderman. 4. It's a good shot too. Smashed away to the left hand of cover. Well stopped. It's a great piece. Well, that's bad luck. Bad luck. It's a lovely shot and a superb piece of fielding to get to it. Overthrows. You go for 4. Situation at tea time. There it was, 51 runs still needed to avoid an innings defeat, and even though Botham and Dilley were going so well, only 3 wickets in hand.
And what a splendid shot. Very wide, very well pitched up, and Graham Dilley continuing his successful policy before tea. Oh, splendid shot, and that brings up the 50 partnership. Beautiful stroke, beautiful stroke. Oh, he's found the gap with no trouble at all. Another tremendous blow through the covers. And round the wicket or over the wicket, they're coming all alike to Graham Dilley at the moment, and that now is his highest test score for England. 39 not out.
Action replay from the last over.
And he brings up the 200 to a great cheer from this Yorkshire crowd. who are relieved to see the home team at least putting up a fight here. Not quite where he intended, but it brings him his 50 nonetheless. His second 50 of the match, and that broad smile conveying a real sense of enjoyment. Safely over the top of Hughes' head. A bit of a risky blow that, but he's got away with it.
I think he hit this one somewhere near the splice. He's such a powerful man, and it carried Deepish Mid on.
So just 8 needed now to make Australia bat again. Three fours in a row, and the last two owing a bit to luck, but he's really having a lovely time, and so the crowd.
Good Sunday League shot this. Overslip, 4 runs all the way.
Absolute thoroughbred stroke.
This is what we were saying a little while ago. This is a perfect shot. He stays where he is, he doesn't pull that front leg away, and he hits it right in the middle, and England go into the lead.
Four more. And Hughes putting a great deal of thought, as you would expect, into his field placings here. And there is the 100 partnership between Ian Botham and Graham Dilley. In just 70 minutes, which have, if they haven't turned the match upside down, they've certainly turned the character of the match upside down. Really been a splendid innings.
That would have been very close. Good cricket from Rodney Marsh to throw at the bowler's end there, and in the end there was very good running. And I suspect it was always on the cards once Alderman decided that would be his angle of attack. Complete change of angle there. He was always likely to nonplus the left-hander. But what a splendid knock that was from Graham Dilley. 56. Bowled Alderman. And that gives Alderman his 5th wicket. Don't bother looking for that, let alone chasing it. It's going straight into the confectionery stall and out again. A beautiful hit.
What a wonderful follow through.
Safely away for 4. That's a splendid 100. A great innings by Ian Botham. 50 in the first innings, a century in the second, and 6 wickets. A marvellous all-round performance to match some of the others he's produced for England, and a marvellous tribute as well from his teammates, all of whom have gathered, and Mike Brearley is just giving him the word to stick around. Safe and 4. Unorthodox but valuable. And up comes the 300 now.
And he's through. It's safe. It's going up for his 25th 4, and that is Ian Botham's highest Test score.
Has any innings, Ian, ever given you more pleasure than that one?
Oh, this is a very good one, yeah, I enjoyed this one, yeah.
And can you cross your heart and say that with the cares of captaincy taken away from you, that you've looked a lot more relaxed and it's been the old Ian Botham again?
I'm not going to say, you know, see, I found myself in the original Catch-22 situation, haven't I?
Yeah. Well, what about the state of the match now, Ian? Because a lot of the pundits are left with egg on their faces.
Yeah. Well,
England facing inevitable defeat, etc., etc. And now what? It's over 100 ahead. It's 124, the lead. One wicket to go.
We get another 50 or 60, it might be interesting in the morning. But let's see what happens tomorrow.
Ian, I reckon you want to get in the bath and you deserve it. Tremendous, well played.
Okay. Thank you, Peter. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers indeed. I reckon if you're an Englishman, an Australian, or anyone else here at the Headingley ground today, you couldn't do anything else but cheer. That was one of the most wonderful exhibitions I've ever seen in all the time I've been watching cricket. And as a commentator, that goes back now to 1960, and the playing side of it goes back 10 years before that. Absolutely exhilarating and marvellous stuff, not only for the spectators, but for the England team, and certainly for the England captain, who at one stage, when he looked at the scorecard, when things weren't going so well, must have thought it quite out of the question that those final figures you see there would be sitting in front of him at the close of play. 145 not out, Ian Botham. Bob Willis not out 1. 351 for 9, and what a change in the match situation now. Marvellous performance by Dilley and Old to stick around there with Botham. Botham held the stage all the time, and England lead now by 124 runs. A marvellous effort when you consider the situation they were in at tea time, where everything looked desperate, and in fact it was just a question if they could hold out for the rest of the day. Ian Botham, well, today he became the first England player ever to hit 100 and take 5 wickets in a Test match against Australia. He's done it against New Zealand, Pakistan and India before, and so too has Tony Greig in a match against the West Indies, but no one until today has ever done it in a Test against Australia. And the only Australian to do it in Anglo-Australian Test matches was the great Jack Gregory in a Test match in Melbourne way back in 1920-21, with 100 dead and took 7 for 69.